Okay. Do not let me. Okay. Say my name is Dr. Cynthia.
My name is Dr. Cynthia.
Okay. So one finger goes down because you can't lie. Okay, you can't lie and it not affect your energy. And so the same thing is true with the software. It basically sends out a blip, and that blip hits you, and it goes binary, yes or no. Okay. Then after it determines like yes, then it goes 1%, 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, 6%, all the way up to whatever it is that it gets to, and it goes bing. Okay, this percent. So now vitamin C, 68%. Okay, and so that's it. So it just does it at like 1.2 million times per second, and so it combs that database, and looks at that database at 1.2 million times per second, and so it goes down through there. And then it comes up with bing, 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 bing. And so here's all of the information, and that's what she was seeing on the computer. So when it says like vitamin C 100%, and so I could energetically check him for vitamin C. Is this vitamin C 100%? Yes. Vitamin D? No. Okay. Over 90%? Yes. Okay. Over 95%? No. Okay. So you see how that works? It just does it much faster.
Not working on any laptop.
It'll work on any Windows-based laptop.
How old is too old?
How old is too old? We have really worked on that problem, and so if it even has a single core with a couple gigs of RAM running Windows XP, you can still run at least one window. So it's I'll tell you what. Actually, Ryu, come here for a second.
Yeah, what's up?
And so this is so. I don't know, Ray. Have you seen Ryu lately? When's the last time you guys saw him?
In a few weeks.
Okay. So does he look any different since the last time you saw him?
Much more handsome and smarter.
Well, that's me, but I'll move out of the way. And so anyway, so
He's taller.
yeah, that too. I didn't do that on purpose. Well, not with the computer. Anyway, so 7 days ago he weighed
135.
Right? And so now, what are you up to?
I went up 17 pounds, so 147, I think.
In how long?
1 week.
1 week. Okay. And
Holy schmoly!
well, he asked for some muscle water, so we did some muscle water. So we can create a structured water, and so what a structured water is energetically enhanced. So I had him get a case of water, which is like 40 bottles. Yeah, 40 bottles. And so then I pulled it up in the supercharger, and I ran it for 24 hours in a protocol for muscle building, and it encompasses all the muscles in the entire body, and it also does some energy enhancement and stuff like that. And so then I saturated that case. I used the charger to charge the case of water with 24 hours worth of muscle building. Now, every one of those bottles of water has 24 hours of muscle building frequency in it. So then he drank 5.
I drank about 8 a day.
Okay, well that would explain the accelerator. so he drank about 8 a day, and so then in a period of 7-8 days, he's gained 17 pounds of muscle mass. Now this is not uncommon. Usually with teens like that, it shoots up pretty quickly. We did a 300-person case study on that particular phenomenon of inducing the signaling into water back in like maybe 2007, something like that. And males under 35, okay, would gain on the average 5 to 10 pounds of muscle mass per week, drinking 5 to 6 bottles of water a day. That's a lot. That's like more than steroids, and that's without working out. That's just drinking water. I'm sitting on the couch and I'm drinking water. Okay. Females under 35, it was 4 to 8 pounds of muscle mass gain per week. And so what was interesting on that study was that the women had a specific number in their mind that they wanted to weigh. And even though their bodies looked better and fuller and more in shape, they thought they were getting fat. They really thought they were getting fat, even though their body mass index was down. And they hated the fact that they're used to like 120 pounds, and now they're up to like 135. Oh, I am fat. I'm like, are you kidding? You look great. Your body's great. Look at the shape of the legs. Oh no, I cannot weigh 135 pounds. I have to bail out of this test. And so got that a lot. And so I found that now we need to run them for psychological trauma, you know, and self-criticism, which I came up with a program for that down the road, but that's another story. But but it was interesting because the men don't care how much they weigh. I mean, like, you think Arnold Schwarzenegger, like 306 pounds or whatever, cares how much he weighs? No, look at that body, you know, that he had, you know, back when he was the Terminator and Conan the Barbarian, you know. So he didn't care how much he weighed. Okay, that was
he did. He was trying for it to be more.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's looking for the definition and the bulk. He's not looking for the actual body weight. That's pretty much, I'd say, irrelevant. But it was just fascinating to find that women had a specific number, but they felt better. They were stronger. They could do more stuff, and they felt better. Also, they had energy, but that weight thing, that weight number, really messed them up. So anyway, so fast forwarding, males over 35 were similar to females under 35. So they gained about 4 to 8 pounds of muscle mass a week. Females over 35, they would gain about, I want to say about 2 to 4 pounds of muscle mass a week on the same amount, something to that effect. But
does the water lose potency? Do you have to
the
keep
water
charging?
can lose potency over time. Usually it'll last a good because the signaling doesn't go away completely, but it'll start to degrade probably in about a month to 3 months, depending upon the length of charge. And so we've tested stuff up to a year, and it still has signaling on it, but the signaling, unless it's heavily saturated, it won't hold at an optimum level. So yeah.
You can also visibly see the difference in the
Yes.
water.
Yes, that's
You take
true.
a bottle of water that, you know, kind of you can squeeze it, and then you run the charge on it, and the next day it's like hard as a rock. And
It's
the
like a
water
brick.
fills right up to the top.
Yeah. Yeah, so all of your bottles of water have like a little air gap at the top, and actually for his 5th grade science experiment years ago, I figured we'd mess with them. And so, because scientists, you know, like, what do they know? And you got an F, right?
Did you really?
Hey, I told you that was gonna happen, okay? But the scientific data was, it
Don't let
hurts,
school
it hurts
get
their
in the way
ego.
you're learning. That's
It hurts their ego, man. And so, because the volume of water cannot change. That's a scientific principle. The volume of water is what it is. You can't compress it, okay, and you can't expand it. It is what it is. And so, except when you add information to it. And so what happens is the actual water does expand. And so the air gap at the top may lose like a 1/16 of an inch or an 1/8 of an inch or whatever it is. If it's a very small amount. But like Ray said, you can most definitely feel it in the bottle. Because you pick up a regular bottle of water and it's like a crinkly bottle of water. You pick up the bottle of water that's charged and it's like skadoosh. You know, it's like you squeeze it and it's like a brick. It's like, and so also we found with Fiji water, interesting enough, where it had like the square bottle, when you pour the water out or you drink it or whatever, the bottle actually will concave in on itself. And so we never could quite understand that particular phenomenon. There's a few phenomena we haven't totally been able to explain yet, but with the water in general, and so this provides you your ability to put signaling sets in for not only muscle building, but anything that you want to beef up, you know, anything. So if you want to put like frequencies for vitamins or nutrients or anything like that into your water, now you've got it on the go, you know, just slam it and go. And so is this the same as taking the actual herbs? No, it's not. The solid molecule that breaks down in the body versus the effect of the solid molecule are different. And so without trying to be like too complicated on it, let's take a look at ginger root. Ginger root is a warming herb. It you know, if you ever had raw ginger, it can be very hot, okay? And it warms the digestion, okay? So let's say you took a capsule of ginger and let's follow it on the journey. So that it goes into the mouth and the sheath around it breaks down in the digestive system. The ginger is then broken down and processed, and the heat effect is pushed into the organs. And so now let's take a look at how the frequency of ginger or virtual ginger then affects the body. And so I type in ginger, or I select ginger from the drop down panel, and I hit the body, and the computer pulls from the database that particular signaling set and then broadcasts it through the user to the target. And in that case, so let's say this case, let's say it's a person. So the body has a response, much like had they eaten ginger. Have you guys ever had something really spicy before? You know, and did you ever have somebody like I'm doing right now talk about that spicy thing and how spicy and hot it was, and all of a sudden you kind of got flushed and it almost felt like you ate that spicy thing? You felt that little heat rush that kind of came up inside you, and it's because your body has experienced this before, and so it has this particular thing in check. And so when you acknowledge it, it's like don't think of red, you know, and all of a sudden everybody thinks of red. And so the computer program is talking to the body, and it can solicit responses like that from that. So instead of taking 20 minutes for it to warm the gut up, the computer tells the body that it's eaten ginger, and the body then responds much like it has eaten ginger. So the upshot of that is that, let's say that you're allergic to ginger. Okay? If you're allergic to ginger, what you're really allergic to is not necessarily the reaction of ginger, but the actual chemical component of the herb. So you don't have to process that. Okay? You only got the signaling set. So there's no bulk, there's no leftover. You see? There's no
Proteins.
there's no solid material for your body to process. So like gluten, for example, you know, everybody is all of a sudden allergic to gluten for some strange and unknown reason. Well, not unknown to me, but it's not some strange and unknown reason. We'll go into that. But they're allergic to gluten, a simple protein from wheat. Okay, that's in everything. And so there are centers in your body, in this particular point around this area of the thigh, that control organs in your body that break gluten down. Okay, and if those points are congested and you can push on them, okay, and if you're allergic to gluten, I promise you they will be tender. Okay, once those points are cleared out, okay, then the gluten sensitivity will calm down. And so it's your body's inability to break it down only because the center that normally irrigates that function is not functioning. You get it? So once you get that center to irrigate it again, then it goes. But it's got to break down the physical substance. If you don't have the physical substance, then you don't have to break it down. You only get the effect without the side effect. Yeah.
Would you agree though that if you run the herbs energetically and then take the hard molecule herbs, they're more effective?
And I was going to get to that too, is that you wind up, like let's say that you constantly have a vitamin C deficiency. Some people do that. They constantly just can't get enough vitamin C. So what do? You take a supplement, right? And so the supplement then kind of helps to offset that problem. It doesn't really fix it, you know, but it does help to offset that problem. Maybe your diet is the problem. Maybe it's not the body. You're just not getting enough citrus or something in your diet. So, but what if it's something else? What if it's an energetic imbalance? And so I can take vitamin C, and that maybe offsets the problem, but it doesn't fix it. But I can run vitamin C in the computer, and oftentimes it will find out why the imbalance is an imbalance. And then it will smooth out that, and so therefore, then you don't wind up having the vitamin C deficiency. And so many times, it's an energy imbalance, and we're trying to feed this on the chemical level. The chemical level is like down here. It is most certainly a level, but there's all kinds of things that happen before we reach the chemical level. But in our modern day society, everybody wants to treat stuff from the chemical level. That's where it's at. It's the chemical level, because that's where we get the effect. No, you can get the effect from I actually made a video from some. There was a lecture that a gentleman did, and I kind of chopped it up and put it together because it explains the whole phenomenon. And it's like so the chakra system, okay, is pulling in massive amounts of energy, and when you have a stress situation, that energy is transferred bang 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 from one level, which is why when you start not feeling good, the first thing that goes is your ability to concentrate or to focus, because the stress has been transferred to the mental level, and so then the mental level to from the physical level to the mental level to the energetic level, emotional level, bang, bang, bang. And so all these systems are interlocked. They're all intertwined. And so a weight on one end is going to tip something on the other end. And so it's at the chemical level, okay, after we've gone through the mental and the spiritual and the emotional and the energetic, at the physical level, and then we have the chemical level, which is kind of a subdirectory of the physical level. It's at that point that now Western medicine comes in with drugs and scalpels at the chemical level event. Okay, and so we look at how much stuff we have to go back to see where the thing even came from. Like a perfect example is I had a guy come in one time and he said that he had some kind of liver problem, some kind of inflammation of the liver. I can't remember exactly what, but he said, you know, I don't know about all this stuff. You know, I don't know about all this stuff. I'm like, that's cool. No, I mean, I get it. You know, well, what can I do to help ease your mind? And he says, I don't know. I don't know what you can do to show me. I'm like, well, how about emotional stuff? I can usually do that pretty quick. And so he says, well, I hate dogs. Okay, that's kind of weird, but we'll go with that. So you hate dogs. So on a number between 0 and 10, 0 being nothing and 10 being the most, how bad do you say that you hate dogs? Like a 6, okay? And so 5, 6, and 7 are usually defense mechanisms. And so if somebody's feeling an emotion at a 5, 6, or 7, that's usually a cover for something much more significant. And so not always, but usually. And so I expected the number to go up before it would go down. Usually it just goes right down. And so I did a little clearing technique with him. I said, so tell me about that dog hating thing. He says, I hate my dad. I'm like, okay, well that's kind of a leap, but it's not, because whatever it is, it's connected. And I don't know the significance of this yet, but we're going to find out. And because it's like we're tracing it back to the original problem. And so I said, okay, so it cleared it, gave it a couple minutes. I said, so tell me about that whole dog hating thing. And he breaks down in emotional crying. He's like just absolutely sobbing and bawling. And he's like, when I was a kid, I was like 4 years old, and my father, we had this dog, and I love this dog, and we couldn't keep it, and he said we couldn't afford it, and I love that dog. Okay? And I'm like, okay, so I cleared all that stuff out in a couple minutes. And so what we're seeing here, well, I'll explain in a minute. So once I cleared that, he was so zonked that he didn't even know why he was there. He didn't even know why he was there. And so the emotional, mental level is resetting. And so for temporarily, he's going to kind of have an out-of-body experience. And because it was such a core issue, do you know that his liver problem went away? I didn't do anything to his liver. And like he went back and got tested and it was all gone. Because the hate and the anger that he had toward his father, because of that dog incident at 4 years old, okay? And it had been burning a hole in his liver, okay, this whole entire time. Now, I didn't know that. Okay, I was just demonstrating a thing. You know, I had no idea that the two things were connected until we got in there. But he couldn't hate his dad because he loved his dad and he respected what his dad said. So what was the culprit? The dog. The dog caused me this pain. And that child was still on fire inside of him at probably whatever he was, like 30 something years old. Okay, and now he had like he had like, you know, liver inflammation as a result of holding on to this burning amber this whole entire time. And so, what drug is that? What do you take for that? Better be good. Better be good. And so there are just things. Yeah.
We're getting close to time, and I'll do a commercial.
Yeah. So.
Commercial break.
So we now interrupt this for this brief commercial message. And so, well, if I don't get to say anything else, well, it was super nice meeting all of you folks. And if you have any questions, talk to Ray. So now, if you have questions?
The water.
The what?
I want that water.
Oh, I want that. What do you want? You want the muscle water, or you want the bone?
The muscle.
Well, you can make you can put them both together. They actually work really well together.
Okay. Yes.
And so yeah, so that's not a big deal. So
Just email me.
Yeah.
Just contact Ray at gmail.com.
Okay.
do you have the software?
Yes.
Oh, you do have the software?
Yes.
Yeah, so right, just send her the cocktail and then and that's the thing, then you can run it, just
Send us all the
get-
cocktails.
get well, I was saying, we do have quite a library of cocktails.
Yeah.
And more.
You mean
Oh,
I
I'm
can
sure.
I can do it at home with?
Yes.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
You don't think I wanna do it all the time, do you?
I buy it, you know,
By the
That-
water.
24 bottles of
That's
this.
the beauty of the SRC for you. You saw the amount of knowledge that he was able to give us in just 35, 40 minutes. That's just a fraction of what's in the software.
Wow.
That's why I tell you, you really don't know what you have in your hands. The software is having him in your pocket to pull on his knowledge and his training whenever you want to. And so it's commercial time. In order to keep the software going and improving, we of course have to sell some. So we always give a special price on the during the seminar, and I'll pass out a sheet here in a moment. And if you want to get it today, then you get quite a significant reduction in price. It's normally, our premium is $24.95. Dr. Cynthia jumped all over me, twisted my arm, and brought it down to $2,000. But then because you're here tonight, we have an additional $300 off. So if you do get it tonight, it's only $1,700.
Holy moly.
There you go.
Good deal, guys.
One of the
Can
versions.
I say
Take
something?
advantage.
I was having trouble with my computer. We had like a 2013, but it ran terrible since we ever got it. Kevin, I don't know if that's your only.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was fantastic, worked with me all day, told me exactly what to take it, have them do to clean it out. Hardly cost anything. It's cool. It's quiet.
Kevin's real good.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
So speaking of cocktails, these are things that you can add into your software and that you can run. I make up cocktails for every class that Dr. Cynthia does, and so there is a cocktail for this particular class. Now, each cocktail that you are given at the start of the time is SSTT all and then the name of the cocktail. So I want to explain what that means. SSTT stands for Shinjin Tao Temple. And what that means is there is a complete spiritual, energetic, encompassing of everything that is Grandmaster David and his discipline of Shunshen Tao. All of that is in that one line of code by saying SSTT. The word all gives you a biblical, God-based line of code because that is 1 Peter 5:7, cast all your cares upon the Lord. So when you run that just one line of code, you're actually getting him and you're getting God. For the classes that I put together, we've added to the front of that LW, which stands for Longevity Wellness. So now you get everything that is Longevity Wellness Clinic and all of the knowledge and the discipline and the training and stuff that Dr. Cynthia has. So you
And
get
all
a
of
double whammy.
And all of the prayer that has gone into longevity wellness over the years.
Yes.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
So those cocktails are available for the class. Again, my email is relatively easy to remember. I like to be polite, so I say, please contact ray@gmail.com. And that's my email. So just say, hey, I attended the class. I heard Grandmaster David. I want some of those cocktails. And I'll be more than happy to send them
But
to
they
you.
can sign up with you tonight, right?
Yeah, you can order that tonight. I've also, part of what you'll read in here is a whole thing I did on 5-element theory, which is what Dr. Cynthia was talking about in her seminar at the beginning of the month. And that was just to give you again an idea. There are pages and pages and pages about the 5-element theory, a small little tiny fraction of what's in the software. And I did a course in 2014, 10 videos, 10 anywhere from an hour and a half to 2.5 hour video course on stuff that's in the software. And that's also available at a special price. Normally it's $2,000, it's available at $1,000. And in addition to that, I'm throwing in a certification because there are quizzes and tests that go along with it. And if you decide to do that, we normally charge extra for the certification, but since you're all here and Grandmaster David is here, I like to make things special since he's here. So just contact me for all of that. If you want to get the software tonight, then just fill out the form and give it to me before you leave. And thank you so much for coming here.
Thank you.
How are you doing, Brad?
It's accelerated.
Is accelerator up or down? Up, it's getting worse?
Progressively.
Is it anxiety based?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, all right. Let me see your phone. Okay, and so, yeah, so it's working it out, and so, it's a.
Well, I think we may have just gotten up at questions.
That was on strap.
That was what?
Remember we talked about that?
Doesn't matter,
So we talked about.
When I got the strep throat,
Yeah.
I think I started doing